Like this, so bear with me. I have Kleenex. I'm going to do a what if too. What if when you looked through a picture album and every time you saw a certain picture you thought, that is the last time I felt good? What if when you look at that picture you also thought, this was the last time I remember feeling like a good mom? What if that picture was taken 8 years ago? What if, right after that picture was taken, your doctor put you on a medication that would send your body reeling headfirst into an autoimmune disease that would not be correctly diagnosed until 2 years later? And what if, despite medication and perfect lab work, you continued to get worse year after year? What if you woke up tired every morning no matter what time you went to bed? What if you had to ask your older child to watch the younger two so you could lay down every day? What if you only had enough energy to do one errand a day and sometimes not even that? What if you constantly told your children, no, we can't go to the park, we can't go to the aquarium, and no, we can't go to the beach, Mama is too tired? What if every time your husband asked about planning a day trip or a vacation, you asked, is there a place to lay down? What if your brain fog was so bad you could not read novels anymore, and you are an English teacher? What if your sugar cravings were so bad you felt as if they controlled your life? What if you shook until you ate a heavy sugar carb, but then crashed with fatigue after? What if you continued to put on large amounts of weight no matter the diet or the exercise plan you followed? What if you cried to your doctor that your fatigue and sugar cravings were so bad you felt helpless? What if he patted you on the back and told you it was the disease and you would always be that way? What if you started to become angry all the time and you did not know why? What if you began dropping your friends and when you visited your hometown, you hid in the house for fear of seeing someone? What if you became so hopeless, you began to wonder if your husband and children were better off without you? What if you were so mortified by what you looked like, you asked your husband to make sure there was a closed casket at your funeral so no one would see you? What if, in 2014, your health became so poor, you started writing letters to your children so they had them when you died? What if, despite all that, you desperately wanted to go back to the classroom? So, you took a step of faith. What if you got a job teaching and you were so excited you felt like the world was coming back in focus, and then you remembered you had no energy to work part-time? What if you picked up the phone twice to quit this job you wanted so badly before you even started? What if one day you cried out to God and you gave him your body and asked him to use it however he wanted, and then give you the strength to obey? What if a few days after that, a friend posted about Plexus? What if you ordered? What if 8 weeks in, you were sure it was not working?
And told me about it over and over.
What if you kept being consistent anyway? What if your kids hugged you and said, I like who you are now? And you started to have hope? What if at 3 months into Plexus, you only needed a 20-minute nap after work instead of 2 hours? What if at 4 months in, you didn't need a nap at all? What if you can read novels again and you can even grade essays really well? What if you're planning vacations and are confident that you can go all day and have fun with your family without laying down? What if you can say yes to your children having friends over because you are not too tired? What if you can say yes to your children, we can do this or do that or go here or go there because you don't need a nap? What if you now have 2 jobs and find that the one you were never expecting, the one you weren't looking for, is wonderful and fulfilling and you get to help and encourage people, and you love it too. What if you are now connecting with all those friends you dropped and are even able to make a trip to see them all by yourself? What if your children are happier because you are happier? What if your husband says all the time, "You amaze me, you amaze me"? What if you now wake every day with joy? What if you are now planning for life instead of death? What if every time you look at a slim packet, you think, "I'm back"?